Last week alone, Moneyball gave away more than $150,000 in cash prizes. This week, in round 3 of the NRL, each game has plenty of different competitions to choose from, whether it be $2 entry fees with your mate or $3,000 guaranteed prize pool. To support the locker room, head over to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Benny Barber, man. Stoked to have you on. Thanks for coming down. How you been?
Yeah, going good, man. Thanks for, bringing me on.
Mate, you killed it last week. You've had a crazy last few years. You know, you Dally M, 2012?
Yeah.
And then you went to the Bronx, and now you're back at Cronulla, and you seem to have got that kind of that explosiveness back, that speed back, especially in the last game. What has it been like for you the last few years? You going from literally the best player in the game, and then you're going from Broncos down to Cronulla, and then finding your form again. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's obviously a big up and down ride. I said 2012 Dally M winner, on top of the world, and obviously went through a bit of trouble, which I guess forced me to leave Sydney and go to Brisbane with the family, and then obviously getting released by Wayne to look somewhere else, and having to find a new home in the space of 3 years at 3 different clubs was tough. But look, this year I think it was more about me being settled and I guess finding a home, and I think I've done that now at the Sharks, and I'm enjoying my footy again, which is the main thing. Yeah,
it's crazy to think that it seems small, but if you're actually enjoying it, it just seems that things fall into place, that bounce happens, that guy falls off the tackle or whatever. It's crazy how it kind of all is interlinked. Happy, enjoying your footy off the field and on the field. What was it? I guess let's take us back all the way to when you debuted. You were half in the under-20s, a halfback.
Yeah, 5'8", yeah, half 5'8".
Yeah, and you. I think did you debut on the wing or in the halves? Or even
no, I think that the day I debuted against the Dragons, I came on as a half.
Yeah.
And then played and swapped around between half and wing. So it was a bit of experience, yeah.
And what was it like for you? I mean, you had this hype around. You absolutely tore the 20s comp apart. Like it was. I mean, we've probably seen maybe nothing really like it when it comes to halfbacks tearing it. Maybe Benny Hunt, kind of similar, but you were so dominant in the halves in the 20s, and you came into first grade. I think you strung together like 5 or 6 really good games, and then the first grade, like week in, week out, kind of was hard for you to adjust to it. Like maybe I'm speaking out of turn, I don't know, but it seemed like you just needed to not be thrown to the wolves in halves straight away, and then you found the form again the next year. Was it 2000? The next year was it Dally M?
No, I debuted in
10.
2008. I debuted.
2008.
Yeah.
Far out.
So between then and 2010, I played like 10 games. So I played a few games. So I was in and out, and then 2011, I finally got me
settled spot.
Yeah, settled spot. Luke Patton left. And they had to find me a spot in the side, and that was their idea to try and turn me into a fullback. And I'd played fullback before, playing local back home in Mackay, but I obviously knew how to play it. In fullback in NRL, so obviously a little bit different. So 2011, that's when I got my shot, and then that's went from there.
And what do you reckon it was? Was it you just not being used to first grade? Do you think you got pushed into first grade a bit too because you were 18?
Just turned 18, 19. So, I don't think it was so much being thrown in there. I think there was a lot of pressure on the club at the time. The Dogs obviously going through struggling at the time with winning football games and a bit of trouble off the field. I guess that they were sort of forced their hand to put me in there. Obviously, as you said, going pretty well in the under-20s. And the club not travelling too well in the first grade. People wanted to see different faces up in the grade, and I guess I'm pretty happy that it was like that. Yeah, you obviously don't want the football club to be losing games, but just to get a chance to play football and NRL was a dream come true for myself.
And I mean, those first few years, was it frustrating? Like 10 games, a guy of your calibre. I mean, you clearly 2000 when you finally were given an opportunity to play consistent footy. Obviously, you could see how good you were. Was it frustrating those first few years?
Look, to get my one game, I'd always said I'd be happy with the one game.
Yeah,
everyone says that, but look, I've always been on paying respect to your elders, and there was some older guys at the club that I thought me coming in would push them out. And look, I was happy to wait my time, even though you'd love to be playing footy. I was never going to kick stones and whinge and whine about not playing. was all about just waiting my turn, and because I knew eventually it would come one day if I stuck at it, and as it did, it worked out well. And look, in saying that, I got to learn a lot from some of the best players. As I said, I waited for Luke Patton to retire, and the General was obviously a great idol of mine.
Yep. And so take us even further back. You grew up in Mackay, you were saying earlier. What was it? Was it footy all your life? Like, were you from a young kid at 5 years old? Was there a footy in your hand? You know, you seem to have that natural instinct that a lot of kids get when they're younger and playing with the footy a lot. Was it footy all your life, or was it something that kind of came later on? You were always an athlete and you just kind of came to you later on?
No, I was having, I guess, a big family. I've got 4 brothers and a sister, and footy was always the sport for me. Not just my family, but my cousins.
Okay.
Everyone that I basically know up in Mackay. Look, I lived around from my nana's house, so there was always somehow we'd almost get 10 people aside playing footy back home in Mackay.
Whole family
in the backyard. So I guess that's where you probably go. You get your speed and your step from is having to dodge people in the backyard. But look, footy's been my life ever since I can remember. I've always been a massive fan of football. I can sit down all day and watch football, and my missus gets pretty filthy on it because I've been like that since I can remember. Since I could put a videotape in and watch replays and such.
And what's kind of a fond memory of you have? You know, you've got a big family, so obviously there would have been a big family environment. You know, your brother was an awesome footy player. Your younger brother, is it Marmon's younger?
Yep, Marmon's
He's
younger.
Unbelievable as well. What's the kind of fondest memory of you guys as children? I mean, imagine the standard of footy you guys would have played against each other. It would have been outrageous. What was the fondest memory of kind of you guys growing up together playing footy? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Oh, mate, probably just what I said before. It's just the games of footy that used to go on at the back of my house back in Mackay. Look. Just all the cousins being around my family, just some of the lengths the games would go to, and just the enjoyment we would have. Obviously, there's always some tears there sometimes, being winners and losers. But look, just spending time with my brothers and all my cousins that were there on the day. And
so, was it the doggies that originally picked you up from Mackay, or were you in a younger, Broncos junior squad or anything like that? Was it all doggies straight away?
No, I actually had a scholarship to the Bronx at a young age, from I think age 13 to 16, 17, and that sort of fell away. And then I still remember the day of driving with Aaron back home in Mackay. He'd moved back, and
because he was with the Broncos as well.
Yeah, he was there, and we were playing local footy together back home for Mackay Brothers, and we got a phone call from a manager. Asked me to come down and have a trial at the Dogs, and look, at the time I just thought, this is a great opportunity, and nothing was I guess set in stone. I was just coming down here to have a go at the Dogs and hopefully get a contract, and it seemed to work out, and I never left. So there was a time when you were driving back to Mackay when you were like, I'm going back to Mackay, I'm going to play local footy and whatever, was that a genuine reality for you? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I gave up on ever trying to pursue anything. So
that's freaking mental, bro.
Because I finished school and hadn't been picked up. What I knew, no one was. I guess being up that way, you sort of look at Townsville, and I guess the Cowboys were never going to give me a chance. So there was time there where I was just looking for work and just playing local footy. So
man, that's mental.
Yeah, so it's worked out. Yeah, I was 17 turning 18, so it was.
So only a year. So you went down and trialled, and then a year later you were playing NRL essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, that is it's crazy how just imagine you didn't take that phone call. Just imagine I don't know, whatever it was, you had no reception or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. And so, I mean, was it hard to get? Did they pay for everything to get down there, or did you have to pay your own way?
No, the Bulldogs were pretty good in that way. They had a house set up down here in Belmore, right near the footy fields at the time when they were still at Belmore, and I just came down there and stayed in a house with a few other guys that were, I guess, from the country or out of town staying there. So I stayed down here, and as I said, it was just a few weeks trial, and then. They basically said, you're not going home. You're going to have to get your parents to send more.
Oh, really?
Send more stuff down because
So you went down there just thinking, I'll go trial, I'll head back, and then they'll call me. But they were just like, we don't want you to leave.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave, so I ended up playing the rest of I guess half the year of Jersey Flegg. I think I signed 4 hours before the June 30 deadline. So.
Oh, really? Because there was deadlines back then?
Yeah, there was deadline back then. So
really?
we played the Roosters out at Bars Hill, I think, and yeah.
That's crazy. So they would have been like, they would have said, come to the game early because you need to sign this contract to play.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was even playing.
Oh, right. Okay.
No, I came with the boys that live in the house. I obviously went to the game with them. We all travelled in the same car.
Yep.
And they go, "Where's your stuff?" And I said, "Oh, what stuff?" And they go, "Oh, you're coming off the bench tonight." And I literally just thought I'd just trained with them for the week and wasn't playing. And I turned up and had to borrow one of the other boys' shoes.
Really?
So, yeah.
Man, that is mental. That's crazy. Like it just seemed to all fall into place for you. And then what? So it's 2000. That would have been 2007.
Yep.
And then 2008 you debuted. You played 10 games. 2010 and 11 you started to get regular first grade.
Yep.
Far out. That's crazy, man. That's to think a guy of your caliber could have not played. That's mental. So when you did play well, or was it like, were you scrappy, or what was it like?
No, it was all right. It's sort of just I fit in pretty well in the Jersey side of the Dogs. I think I scored a try
really?
that night, so it all started from then. And
got these like big boots on, wearing some other
wearing
dudes'
those
boots.
boots. Yeah. So it all worked out pretty well in the first few years in the dog system. As I said, they've always been good. They were good to me at the time, and
That's crazy, bro. That's so sick that you were in a car on the way back to Mackay, and then get a phone call, fly down, then never go home. And so, when did you go home? When was the first time?
I didn't get home till Christmas, obviously. So I come down probably June, just before early June, and never sort of.
Out. That's mental, man.
Yeah.
So, when you made your debut, what was that like? Because were you it was only a year of footy. I mean, surely you kind of weren't expecting to play first grade that quickly. I mean, I assume anyway. But what was it like? What was the phone call? Was it 18th man and then get slid in, or what was it?
Yeah, it was weird. One of the trainers at the time, Tony Cronulla, rang me and to congratulate me. And I said, "Oh, what's that for?" And then he hung up the phone.
Because he was shitting himself.
Then he hung up the phone, and then about a minute later, at the time, Kevin Moore then rang me. Not Kevin Moore, Steve Folkes rang me and said, "Oh, you're gonna play this week." So it was.
Thanks, trainer.
Yeah. No, he was a good man, Tony. He was. Then he, I guess, rang me back and congratulated me for the opportunity. So it was obviously a dream come true.
Yeah.
I never, as you said, a year ago before then, I was back home in Mackay playing local footy, and to get that phone call, it's just the happiness that comes over you to, I guess, your dreams coming true, and the first thing you obviously want to do is just bring everyone, your friends and your family, and mum and dad.
100%. That's great. And the trainer calling you too. Idiot, what are you doing? So you debuted off the bench into the halves?
Yeah, the day I debuted, I came off the bench against the Dragons, and it was a pretty funny story that day, because that was the day I was debuting. It was the week Sonny left. So,
really?
Yeah. So it was, that was the.
So you flew under the radar then?
Yeah. So it was sort of got the chance to, fly under the radar. Not much, I guess, said about it. Obviously, all the pressure on him. So that's probably a funny story at the time.
What was it like? I mean, when was it hard mentally to deal with that? Like Sonny leaving, it was huge news. Like that was great. Or was it? Did it kind of? Were you focused on that? Like, did you struggle with it, or was? No,
I was all right. Obviously, might have been different for some of the older guys in the side that knew him pretty well. But mate, I guess Sonny for a lot of young kids was everyone.
He was the man.
He was the man. So you didn't care what he was doing.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the man. So. Look, obviously it probably affected a lot of people differently, but look, I think just the excitement of playing first grade that week for me was the only thing I was thinking about.
That's crazy, man. And the same week that Sonny left. And so the years of kind of, I guess, learning your trade then, so you went, you continued to play. Did you go back to 20s or did you go back to reserve grade?
Early on I did when I was playing first grade, then I'd go back. 09 I spent half my time in reserve grade. And then it was just a bit of back and forward. Sometimes when the first grade weren't playing, they had a bye, I'd play. Oh, okay. I'd play 20s again or the younger grades, but it was just back and forth and just enjoying my time.
And so, your year where you just everything worked. It was awesome to watch. It was similar to when Jared Hayne had those 10 weeks where he killed it, but it was a whole year for you. What do you reckon? I mean, it was obviously due to your talent, but what what clicked for you that year, you reckon? Was it just like the confidence that you were going to play fullback every week, so you knew your role, you could turn up, it just seemed you were just brimming with confidence, everything you touched worked. What do you reckon that was for you that year?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Because if I knew, I'd probably try and go find it again. But no, I think that's the year Desi Hasler arrived at the club.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, people say there might have been just the pressure of him saying he was looking to a fullback, but at the time, I knew I was good enough to obviously be the fullback there at the club. But look, words couldn't explain that year sort of thing. Like I don't know what it was, how it happened, or what was going on. But back then, I think I was just enjoying my footy again, as I said. And then each week, I had a great side. Obviously, we did that year, and
doggies were good.
And then just this confidence, and not just myself, but everyone at the club made everyone's role at the club a lot easier. And obviously, my footy was probably shine a little bit brighter than probably some of the others. But in saying that, it was a wonderful team, which probably set us all in the right direction, especially myself.
Did you go the semis or grand final that year?
Grand final. We lost to Melbourne. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember now. And so what was that like for you? I mean, a lot of people forget the doggies were... That's the thing. Who was I saying it to? Josh Morris, like quite a while. I was like, the doggies always seem to fly under the radar for some reason. Every year they're there or thereabouts. Yeah. And even that year you flew under the radar. Like, don't get me wrong, you had a gun side, but I think was it Manly or was it... Anyway, there was some other... And what was that like for you, losing that grand final with us? You definitely had the side to win it. What was it like?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. You sort of sit around and think about it now, how close you were. I think myself, I think we deserved to win that weekend, and I thought we would. Like I thought, obviously we played Melbourne twice during the year, and we'd won one and lost one. But I thought going into them having the big three, I thought we were a better side,
full side.
Full side. Yep. Nothing against them, because they are a great side, and they've proven that for a long time. But I just thought, I guess it was our time. Really, everything was for myself. Everything was going sweet. Like I thought, nothing could stop us. But look, it's always hard. As I said, you think about it all the time now, and how close you are. Some guys go their whole NRL career without ever winning one, and you sort of wonder now if you're ever going to get to play in another one. So
it's such a lot. Most people go their whole career without ever getting in a final. What was it like for you as the lead up to that final? Was it? I mean, it would have been something like you've never experienced before. The build-up, the hype, running out on the, in the grand final. What was there anything that stands out in your memory of this is grand final week and this is a strange situation, or?
Yeah, something that always stands out with me is just, I guess when the national anthem plays. It takes you back a little bit. You're sitting down and it sort of goes silent before it starts to play, and your head's. I guess the more experienced guys might have been better, but your head sort of explodes, sort of thing. Thinking, so especially for myself, as I said, playing in one NRL game would have been good.
You'd have been like 21?
23.
23.
Yeah, but 23. Just you could never dream of, I guess, playing an NRL grand final, and it was all happening, I guess, there and then. And I think that's the one thing that I always think about is just that moment of, I guess, minutes before kick-off.
Yeah, and just standing there with your mates that you do anything for, and then there's, this song comes on, emotions start
rising. Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. And so that year for you, what stands out, I guess, the best memory of that year? What was something that, obviously everyone that watched you that year knew you would have been enjoying yourself, but what's something that you reckon people wouldn't have known that you liked about that year, that stood out for you personally? Last week alone, Moneyball gave away more than $150,000 in cash prizes. This week, in round 3 of the NRL, each game has plenty of different competitions to choose from, whether it be $2 entry fees with your mate or $3,000 guaranteed prize pool. To support the locker room, head over to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today.
Oh, that's...
I'm putting it in the spot.
Yeah. What do you mean, like game-wise?
I just mean as in... everything was going really well for you footy-wise, but everyone saw your attacking flair. Yeah. But was it maybe your defence that you really were happy with that year, or was it something that was it the ability to set other people? You know what I mean? Was it?
All right. Yeah, sweet. It's funny you said that too. It's probably everything that year was. You could say it was my defence.
Yeah, because you did a lot of try-saving.
Yeah. A lot of people probably didn't realise that, but that's something me and Desi worked on that year, and something he really stressed upon me during the year was I'd rather you stop a try than score one, basically.
Probably because you knew you could score one.
Yeah,
like, that's
could score one.
for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's probably one thing that I still I guess base my game on now is I get filthy when I'm the last line of defence and I don't make that one-on-one tackle. It's something that I that year went really well for me. I was doing it week in and week out, and
against much bigger dudes as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and just get myself in the right positions to be able to save tries and that again, I think for the keen footballer that watches the game a lot, probably seen that better than I guess what other people were seeing. As you said, a lot of people just see all the flashy and the flary stuff, Larry stuff. But look, I think that was something that I guess kept my confidence pretty high, and I knew if I could do that, my attacking ability would come on the back of that.
Well, I mean that was essentially in your blood. Like your ability to attack that's never your brother, I've said off camera, people that don't know this, Aaron Barber, his older brother, is one of the best players the best player to never play first grade. And anyone that's played with him would back me up and say that because he was outrageous. So let's talk about that try against Melbourne Storm. I mean, one among many. Was it you scored that, didn't you, or did you offload?
No, I gave it to Jamos. Jamos scored that.
But the whole play was ridiculous. Like, it was crazy. Walk us through what were you thinking? You know, when the ball came to you and you got kicked to you, you know, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking, I'm going to step in? You know, because a lot of people would have taken, because you had it in goal, you could have taken the tackle. And then did you go down the short side, or you went around? Yeah,
I went sort of back in and back out. And then ran out.
Yeah. So what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah. I've probably been lazy at that time. If you watch the game, I think it was only like 10 minutes to go, and we were up by 14 or 10 maybe, and that somehow the ball kicked over my head, and I thought, I was hoping it would go there, and then there was a massive big like wind in Mackay that day, and obviously Cooper.
Was it in Mackay?
It was in Mackay back home.
So that's why you did it. That's why I did it.
Yeah. And held up in gold, and obviously I then had to do what I had to do to get out, and from that. Yeah, obviously.
So was it a conscious thought, like, shit, I've been a bit lazy here, I kind of need to do something, like?
Yeah. Well, it was sort of, I jogged back hoping it'd go out, and then, look, I'm not a big religious person, but I think, as I said, I think someone was on my side that day.
Yeah,
sort
it was
of thing.
Meant to
like,
be kind of.
I think playing back in Mackay in front of all my friends and family, people I've grown up with that have probably watched me play from a 6-7-year-old kid to now playing an NRL game back home in my hometown. It's something that just guided me, I guess, through that Storm.
That's awesome, man.
Storm team, and was able to, I guess, put a kick in. And Jane was being the great finisher he was. Was always there on the spot for me to finish it off, and I guess put the game to bed.
Because we actually the Broncos, we did a video session, and Hook said something like, Anthony Griffin, he was like, don't give him a centimetre, and he was showing that clip, and he was like, look, and he was just showing all the boys were watching, and was like, had the first grade side in there, and it's like, don't give Benny Barber a centimetre, and then he just showed you highlights of you just tearing teams apart coming back, and it was just sort of, it's funny that, so it was in Mackay. What was that feeling like for you? Like, killing it in Mackay, played mad, you know, all your family and friends were there, what was that like for you?
It was pretty emotional. After the game, I I had to hold back the tears.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I guess something you could never imagine, really. As I said, going back, there was people there that probably knew me since I was I guess a naughty 7-year-old kid running around the local footy fields, and just to be able to do that again back home. Me nan was there. She wouldn't get to watch many football matches, and
that's cool, man.
And obviously, I mean, my granddad passed away, and them two had been massive footy fans of the Dragons. Most of my uncles are massive fans of the Dragons, but she wouldn't have. I think that's been her only chance
to see playing live.
To ever play an NRL game live. So look, it was a special moment for myself, being able to do that in front of her. And as I said, just playing in front of my family and friends, and all my family was there. They ride me back, sort of thing, like on like love seeing me do what I do, and I've got full support of them, and just to be able to put a performance on like that day for them was it's pretty special.
And growing up in Mackay, what was it? Did you have an average, upbringing, or was it tough? Did you struggle to make ends meet, or were you like pretty standard Mackay family? Because a big family would have been hard to support that. I mean, I've got four brothers and sisters, and my dad worked his ass off just to give us enough. What was it like for yourself?
Yeah, it was. It was tough at times. We had a massive family, and I guess mum and dad didn't have very, very stable and steady jobs, and a lot of times we I guess had to have a handout because we needed the money for us to spur footy dreams, and that's, I guess, for me, it was something that I hold very close to my heart with my mum and dad. They moved heaven and earth for me to be here today. They did it not just for me, but for all my brothers. But it's just fortunate enough that I guess I was able to, I guess, break the mold of homesickness and all that sort of thing, and really, I guess, I think they probably knew it was probably going to be, because I was probably the hardest heart, what we call a hard head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stubborn.
Yeah.
It was always the one that was probably going to, I guess, work his butt off to
do anything to try and make it happen.
To make it, and as I said, it wasn't easy, but they did everything they could to get me, especially where I am today.
And I mean, not explain, but tell us what it's like. You mentioned homesickness there, and that's just not a normal homesickness for like a normal kid. But you would be leaving your culture as well, and going to. Don't get me wrong. There'd be culture of the doggies, but it would have been very different. What was that like for you? Being taken away, not taken away, but you know what I mean. Like you left your family, and you had the Indigenous culture that you're very proud of, your heritage, and then going to the doggies and living in a very, I guess, normal Australian home. Was that tough, or was that, because a lot of young Indigenous kids, I'm sure, would struggle with that?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing, was just leaving not just my family, but everyone around. You said culture there. That's something I'm very proud of. I guess how should I say it? I grew up very like culturally aware sort of thing. I love being around family. Family to me is everything.
So it was a very immediate thing to you. You knew that you had a different culture and you enjoyed it. And embraced it.
Embraced it a lot. And leaving my family. You say homesick. Most of them say family, but family is to me is
very different.
Very different to probably to how other people see it, and it was hard because it was uncomfortable down here, as you said.
What I'm trying to get at, I guess, is there's two different cultures. There is the Australian culture, which is great, and then there's Indigenous culture, and you would have been taken out of that into just like normal living, and it would have been hard. It's harder. It's like if I moved to a different country, essentially. Like it's like that.
Yeah, well, that's basically what it was like. Yeah. Just that's all I knew, sort of thing. All my life till I was 18, and then all of a sudden taken away that from there to come to Sydney and I guess start a different sort of thing.
Just different,
and get to learn a lot of things, learn different cultures and all that sort of things. And it was a bit of a shock to the system
because as well in Mackay there is a pretty big Indigenous population, so you can be not insulated, but you everything you do is within that culture.
Yes, absolutely.
Is within that culture, so It's not like you're getting constant. It's not like you've got all these, white people or whatever to hang out with constantly and get that taste of Sydney life. So it's weird. It's weird that within our own country that happens. It kind of sucks. I was speaking to Jarrell the other day, and he was saying the opposite. He was saying he grew up. He grew up in just normal white culture, and he was actually unaware of what was going on because he never got really So it's strange. I hope there is. I know it has getting better. It's getting a lot better, but I hope it gets even more. We're a situation where young kids like yourself don't feel the homesickness as much when they leave. Of course they're going to, but it's it's one of those. It's a tough situation. And it's a lot of people aren't aware of it as well. When a young Indigenous kid says I'm homesick, it's very different to a young, Anyway, moving on. So the doggies, when you left the doggies, there was controversy. As you said, family, it means a lot to you, and I don't know what the ins and outs were, but walk us through. you know, I know you've already spoken on it, but walk us through the reasons of the leaving the doggies. You're on top of the world, and you know there was a bit of controversy around it. So walk us through what genuinely happened and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there was obviously the split with my I guess my long term partner that I'd been with a while and had kids with, and obviously I guess there was another girl involved and all that sort of stuff, and I guess being at the top, it was sort of happened too fast, and it's something that at the time, when I speak about now, I'm not proud of what I did back then. Especially when you hear me talk about how much I love my family, and this was my own family, my two beautiful daughters and my partner. To sort of do what I did was I feel filthy on myself now for doing it, but look, there was obviously a few months there where I was again with another girl, and in time that sort of didn't start to work out, and I started, I guess, wake up to myself. That I needed them in my life, my children, and just for us, I guess, at the time, for me to get back with them was I had to, I guess, get back with me partner that I had the kids with.
Okay, so you had to kind of sacrifice and move away from where all the damage, like all the bad things.
To do that, she said that she couldn't stay in Sydney,
which is fair enough.
Because I guess during all that time, my kids were always in the paper.
It's tough.
She said she could hear people. She'd take them to the park and hear people whispering about it, saying they're the two young kids of the Bulldogs, and to be able to, I guess, my kids being picked out in the street is I guess. You don't want that on any kids, and these kids were only, I guess, 4 and 2 years old. So, she said for us, if we were to ever to get back together, I'd have to follow her back to Brisbane.
But her family was based there, hey?
Yeah, she's from Mackay, but she's got a lot more family in Queensland. So the time came where I guess I went to the Bulldogs to ask if I could follow them. And they Desi being the great man he is, allowed me to, and it just all went on from then. We obviously moved to Brisbane. I was hoping to, I guess, settle there and stay there, but then again it all backfired. Footy, it's a funny thing. The way footy is, people don't understand. I guess with footy players, they think it's easier than it is, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and I think I'm a great example of what can happen, sort of thing. Like if a club don't need you, they don't need you. So
no matter how good you are, even if you're like literally one of the best players in the game, far out. And so that in that time, I mean, how much do you, like, on a personal note, how much do you reckon you grew as a man in that time? Do you reckon was that really your kind of boyhood to manhood, that period where it was tough and you kind of grew up a bit? Because it's funny you say it's similar. I wasn't as as involved like as you with having kids and stuff, but a similar situation happened with me. 2008, top of the world, had girl problems, women problems, and it really hurt my career to the point of possibly ending it. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. But was that a time that you grew a lot?
Yeah, definitely. It was I guess. I had to, I guess, all the stuff that was going on. I really had to. I learned a lot of I guess, a lot of people that helped me out during the tough time. But personally, I think I definitely had to. Who knows? I mightn't be here now talking to you, sort of thing. Yeah. So look, I did grow a lot, and I'm very thankful for as I said, the people that helped me out through probably one of the difficult time of my life. So. Yeah, look, I got to Brizzy and try to settle, and I thought I'd never ever leave there. Basically, I thought I was going to end my career in Brisbane. I'd sign a 3-year contract, and hopefully, if things are going well, I'd stay there, or even more move north again. But look, things didn't work out, and obviously, when they told me I had to go, I was shocked. It was tough. It was tough because I remember having a chat with Wayne, and he goes, I'll hold no grudges if you can find somewhere else. And just the process of that and of not feeling wanted was
tough,
was pretty hard for myself. There was times where I think I sat down and just cried to
really?
myself. And
it's a lonely place.
Yeah, it is. It's a lonely place, and it is probably again. I thought that the time before that was tough, but it was even worse because there was only a few options for me open, and
because you were kind of pushed into that 6 role as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
And so because you had a few fullbacks at the time, and were you with that with number 6, like playing number 6 at the time? Was that frustrating for you? Were you I know you publicly hooked back to you and everything like that, but was it really frustrating being kind of pushed into a position you didn't really, or did you want to play there? Was it something?
Yeah, no, it was sort of both. I wanted to play there. So at the time, I think it was me and Joshy Hoffman were at the time, and he was he's a pretty good fullback, and so am I. But and then
very different fullbacks.
Very different, very different. And at the time, he'd been moved to play 5'8", and I knew that me having a bit more experience there, I sort of went to Hook and asked him if we could swap because it wasn't sort of taking Josh out of a role as putting him in a role that I sort of knew. So I'd played some first grade games at 6. So I thought that would be probably a bit better, I guess, for the situation that was going on. So I didn't mind it, really. I didn't mind it. I just playing footy every weekend I was happy with.
Yeah, especially after everything happened.
Yeah, so that playing 6 was never too bad. I don't mind it. I actually enjoy it. But obviously, I'm a better fullback than what I am a 6.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you got to remember you're in a struggling side. Like it's not like the Broncos were killing it, So I mean, you'd know better than me. So when Wayne sits you down and tells you not wanted, and you're upset at home and all that kind of stuff, what was there times when you were like, man, maybe I'm not going to continue playing footy? Like, was there ever times when you think, because if I was in your position, you got to think like, fuck, this is too much, man. This is too much, Was there times like that or not?
Yeah, definitely. We looked around, my management and I, at even rugby union.
Oh, really?
So there was a time there where I thought I could have been leaving the game. I was gone because the only options I had was to come back to Cronulla.
Yep.
Or if there was rugby union here or overseas, I was going to try that.
And I guess your missus would have been like, I don't really want to go back to Sydney as well. So you've got to, okay. I mean,
so that was probably the hardest thing, because when we heard the Sharks were interested, we sort of and ahhing, and again, it wasn't just my decision; it was theirs as well.
Yeah,
they came out, they went up there to escape the hustle and bustle of Sydney, and look, and then we looked at the Reds to try and stay in Brisbane. We looked at everywhere, I guess. We actually tried to avoid Sydney, basically.
Oh, really?
Everywhere else but Sydney. So it was tough, but at the end of the day, look, I thought maybe leaving rugby league might have been a bit, I guess, premature, and I thought I had a few more years in before I gave it away. So,
but I mean, look, it's crazy to think like 6 months ago or whatever it is, a year and a half ago, you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And now you're sitting here today, you're playing good footy, you're back at fullback. It's weird how it all kind of works, eh? And now you'd think, why would I ever leave footy? This is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's just the roller coaster ride of I guess a footy player. But as I said, we come back here and obviously didn't go as well as I did last year here at the Sharks. But I think this year it's finally been settled. There's one thing that I think I said earlier, it was being able to be settled in a house with my family, being able to focus on footy, and when I'm away from footy, I'm at home relaxing. That's probably over the last few years has been the best thing. Is I was really settled this time around through my training and through the start of the year, and it allowed me to focus on myself and I guess. When I'm at footy, it's footy. When I'm away, I'm just able to log off from everything everything else, and just relax. And it's I guess it's showing now. Yeah,
and it's crazy to think like, people just see you playing footy, but they don't realise there's a whole storm of shit going on behind the scene, like yourself, like what you've been through over the last few years when it comes to mistakes made, trying to take care of your family, trying to do the right thing. It's crazy that you just don't see that. It's like this big iceberg under the water that you don't see. So last year, you played like it would be Benny Barber's back, and you'd play like 3 good games, and then you might have an ordinary game, and then you play, and you're getting moved around a lot. Do you reckon it was? I know you said it was as being settled, but do you reckon that was something too, being moved around a lot, and then you've got the Sharks that had. You're still kind of reeling from what happened, years ago. So yeah, was that kind of a factor, I guess, or?
Yeah, I've said it a few times now that I think when I moved back to the bench, and everyone sort of thought I was on my way out, that this could be the end of Benny Barber. But I think it allowed me to relax a lot.
Yep.
I didn't have to worry about too much. I knew when I'd be put on, it'd be to try and change it, or
you could do what you do best, just attack and do stuff.
And definitely, and that's I think really got me confidence back mid-year last year, and allowed me to relax again, enjoy my football, and I'd like to think that I finished the year a lot better than the way I started, and look, and I think it set me on the right track to where I am today.
It's crazy how like just a little positional change or whatever can kind of impact your footy so much, especially you were 14 and were you coming on as 9? No, you weren't coming.
No, I was coming on as a fullback.
As fullback,
so we'd swap. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were coming on as like just a kind of roaming forward to get in that kind of. But you're wearing 14 though.
Yeah, wearing 14.
Wearing 14. Oh, okay. And so Benny Barber going forward, are you in a position now to sit there and go, I just want to have fun and enjoy my footy. I just want to play footy each week, and is that kind of your mindset now, rather than because the pressure you had on yourself after 2012 was immense, immense. Are you glad that that's kind of in the past now?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's still kind of there.
Yeah, it's still kind of there. No,
you'll never.
You get it all the time. That I guess I get it everywhere. Basically, I go like, will we ever see that again? Will it ever happen? And I really don't know how to answer it, because I guess that year was special for me. But now I think it's just more about me. It's just, I guess, looking to set up, like I'm 28, 27 this year, and I think my main focus now is just trying to play consistent football, because I know my time is coming to an end. Basically, it's crazy. I'm getting older, and and I know that I guess time now is precious. So I'm just trying to really look after myself, and really try and, I guess, start to look to set myself up after football. I've got a few years left, and hopefully things go really well, and I'm able to eventually move back to Mackay. I've done what I needed to do, and live a happy life after
So
footy.
you plan to go back?
Yeah, definitely. That's always been my home, as I said. I've always felt a connection to that place, and that's something I want to do when I'm done, is move back there, and I guess bring my kids up the way I was brought up, around family and all that. So that's something I want to do.
And we're talking about family and bringing it up in that culture. The All-Stars game, when you did play that, it's quite a while now. When you played pretty early in that. Did you play in the first one?
No, that's the only one I missed. I've played in every one.
Yeah,
since,
everyone since then. Yeah. How important is that as a person and a man, that Indigenous man? How important is that game to you? Because it pisses me off so much when people start suggesting that the game should be this or be that. It makes me and I don't even know why, because it's obviously it just makes me angry, because when I did come to footy from soccer, I was taken care of by Indigenous, the Appos and Ian Lace and that. Yeah, how important that is, that game to you?
That's everything. And I don't know how much, I guess, the players need to keep saying it. I think you see and you hear them talk about it, and I think the one thing that they should listen to is the guys that aren't Indigenous that talk about it. Cameron Smith every year says he puts his hand up to play this game every year, and we're talking about the Queensland and Australian captain. I guess the number one in our game sort of thing with Jono and GI, and look at just that week, just the time we get to spend together as brothers, what we call each other, all the boys that come together. Yeah, all the bullers. Yeah, mate, it's just that chance to come together as one and play footy together, and just all the stuff we get to do in that weekend with during the week with the kids, and getting out into the community. And I guess you sort of start that Monday, and you sort of feel the build up during the week, because you start seeing I I guess, family and friends that are flowing into for the game and all that sort of thing. And look, it's just, I guess it's an unbelievable week. Like I can't talk about it enough, sort of thing. It's the best feeling ever. I guess that Saturday getting to play, wear that jersey and run out with your brothers, and I guess do the war dance and all that sort of thing.
You know what I would love, and I know it's been mentioned before, but I would love a Māori Indigenous match. Best of their Indigenous culture, best of our Indigenous culture, and just the whole country gets behind it. I reckon that would be hectic. Can you imagine the haka and your war dances and shit, and just going crazy?
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be sick. And you could do it like 1 year you could do it in New Zealand, 1 year you could do it in Australia. And what would be something you'd tweak? Would you tweak in that game if you could make that better? If you were the CEO for a day, what would you tweak to make better for the Indigenous game?
I think maybe what you just said.
Sick,
we could,
man.
Probably play the all Indigenous side versus, as you said, every year play an Australian side. You can play an England side, a Kiwi side. It'd I guess rank us as Indigenous players on where we stand.
Man, it'd be sick.
Yeah.
Someone would die. Someone would actually die. Because like the Samoan Tongan game is awesome. When you watch that, there's crazy. I mean, obviously there's a natural rivalry there with they used to war and stuff. But yeah, the Indigenous sides from each kind of thing would be awesome. Imagine how white the English side would be. They would all be just rainers. Yeah, all right, man. Well, I ask two questions to the boys. Favorite rapper of all time?
It's a tough one.
You can go current and past if you want. You're the boys of
Favorite rapper.
Going deep. You haven't thrown out the typical answer that everyone else throws out.
Trying to think because. I'd have to probably just go there like Tupac, Biggie, Smalls.
Oh man, everyone says that.
Until you really sit down and you think when you listen to their songs, it's like until they you didn't really know about it until the movies and that all came out and
man,
you listen to their story.
I'm Eminem, bro. I reckon Eminem is the best.
Yeah, he's up there.
Hectic.
He's up there. Yeah, he's up there.
I reckon I like Tupac's message and what he meant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then if I was going to party, I'd have B.I.G.
Yeah.
But if I was just going to maybe chill and just do just whatever, you got Eminem just because he's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon party B.I.G. You got to go with him. But then if you in a mood to think about stuff, Tupac. Yeah. Favorite movie of all time?
Can't go past Remember the Titans.
Oh, bro, great movie. Denzel Washington, he is fucking unbelievable, eh? Is he ever released a bad movie?
No. Someone asked me that the same. Someone asked me that the other day. Actually, can you think of a movie that Denzel Washington?
But even if the movie is bad, he makes it good.
Makes it good. Yeah.
For example, there was a movie called Equalizer, I think.
Yeah.
And if anyone else played that, it'd be
boring. Yeah.
But he plays it, and I'm just like, man, this is mad. This is mad. He's a man. Yeah. All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Gone a bit over time, 20 minutes. Apologise. Yeah. Always do. I always say to the boys, 30, 40 minutes, and we'll get you out of here. But then, I look down, it's fucking 50 minutes. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man. And good luck for the rest of the year. You'll kill it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Last week alone, Moneyball gave away more than $150,000 in cash prizes. This week, in round 3 of the NRL, each game has plenty of different competitions to choose from, whether it be $2 entry fees with your mate or $3,000 guaranteed prize pool. To support the locker room, head over to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today.